So starting the test drive in this CR-V, the 1.5 four-cylinder is a very capable engine, I think, for this type of vehicle. And I think that's another reason the EPA figures are so high for something like this, because even though it's a bigger SUV, you can fit everybody in here. When you need the turbocharger, I feel like this actually pushes a bit better in the CR-V than the 1.5 four-cylinder in the Chevy Equinox. Even though they're pretty much apples to apples, it's just something about this. I don't know what it is, but this just feels more capable than that 1.5 turbo 4 we get in the Chevy Equinox. I think another thing though is this has a CVT in it as opposed to that Equinox having the 6-speed automatic still. We'll see if Chevy tries to catch up with everybody putting a CVT in an SUV, but hopefully that doesn't happen. And the CVT in here isn't necessarily bad. CVTs leave a bad taste in my mouth for whatever reason. I don't like them. Like green eggs and ham. But I've driven several vehicles that have CVTs, including I think a 23 CR-V, and again, they're not terrible. I just don't prefer them over a traditional 6-speed, 7-speed, 8-speed, even a 10-speed automatic. It just doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm getting cheated out of a driving experience, even in something like this. But again, for most people who are gonna be driving something like this, you'll be okay with it. Now I'm gonna put it into sport mode. And that's one place where Honda has one over on the competition, because you have a normal mode, an econ mode, a snow mode, but then you also have the sport shifts as well. But I'm gonna test it getting out on the interstate and see how it does. Got a little bit of space, so I'm gonna use it. And what I think it is the sound acoustics in here are better than the Equinox. And I think that's why it feels like it's not as slow. I don't feel like I'm straining the engine as much getting up to the same speed. And another plus of this is getting that cruise control without having to have an additional package. Just comes standard on this trim level. And then we don't have to opt in for Super Cruise to get lane centering. So, final thoughts on the CR-V, specifically this EXL trim. It's a bit expensive, but you're not missing out on anything. You have the sunroof, you have your wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, and I think you have everything you need in a vehicle like this without having to crest over 40 grand. And with that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Honda CR-V EXL.